The Minnesota Senate Education Policy Committee will now come to order. Today we will hear Senate files 3969, 4431, 3983, 3717, and 3368. Before we begin, I just want to remind everybody to have a happy semi-quincentennial as we move forward in our celebration of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And if you ever have a copy of a $2 bill on you, and you flip it over, you'll notice on the back of the $2 bill is the Trumbo painting in our nation's rotunda. And in our nation's rotunda is a painting by John Trumbo, and it depicts the 5 people that worked on the Declaration of Independence. And everybody knows about Jefferson's work on it, but they forget there were 4 other people that helped him. John Adams, Robert Livingston, Roger Sherman, and a 5th guy that's escaping me right now. So these 5 guys, oh, Ben Franklin, oh my God, don't let him know that I left him out. These 5 guys are all helped write the Declaration of Independence. So they show up to present the Declaration of Independence, and John Hancock signed it, and so on and so forth. And years later, on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, so do the math, 1826, July 4th, there were 3 people left from that significant day in July of 1776. And of those 56 signatures, only 2 became presidents of the United States: John Adams, Thomas Jefferson. Of the 3 survivors on the 50th anniversary, there were 2 of the 3 people alive that had become presidents of the United States. So on the 50th anniversary, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson are both still alive. Thomas Jefferson died that morning on July 4th, and President Adams dies a few hours later. And in pre-cell phone days, John Adams' dying words were, "At least Jefferson lives," because he had no idea that Thomas Jefferson, his co-signer of the Declaration, had perished a few hours prior to that. So enjoy the 250th anniversary of this great nation in the coming months as we move closer and closer to July 4th. Share these stories and anecdotes with your own children and family so that we can all cherish this semi-quincentennial occasion. So with all that said, next we will hear Senate File 3969, Senator Maye Quade. Welcome to the committee. Today, the intention is to send Senate File 396, I just said that, to Judiciary. Senator Maye Quade, would you like to make a motion for Senate 3969 to be recommended to be passed and referred to the Committee on Judiciary?
Mr. Chair, I would move the bill before the committee, and I would first motion for the A2 authors amendment.
So you have the A2 amendment. Thank you. Members, any questions on the A2 amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the author's A2 amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Senator Maye Quade, to your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, thank you for hearing Senate File 3969. The bill before you establishes the crime of grooming and makes specific changes to the mandatory reporting requirements in education. The reason for this bill is frankly heartbreaking, but I'm hoping that its passage by this committee can help protect future generations of students. I will let Hannah tell her own story, but an educator in our district used his position to groom and sexually assault students under his care. And because of gaps in our current laws, this teacher was able to do the unthinkable and largely went unpunished. So this bill will help fix some of those legal issues and hopefully prevent future Minnesota students from being victims of this terrible crime. As a 196 grad myself and a 196 future parent of a grad, I'm actually horrified that this happened. And I know that the majority of teachers, of course, care about our children. They want to help educate them, and we thank them for all of the ways in which they've made our children's lives better. But the loopholes in our laws have prevented law enforcement and others from investigating this problem. And grooming is an issue we definitely need to take up as a legislature, and it is addressed directly in this bill. I thank Hannah for her bravery, for telling her story, and I want to thank Detective Clausen for working with me and alongside Hannah on this bill, and I hope I can get your support to send this on to Judiciary.
begin your testimony. Identify yourself for the record.
My name is Hannah Lopresto. I am a victim survivor of grooming and sexual assault by my high school band teacher when I was a student from 2012 to 2016 at Egan High School. Chair Kwadzinski and members, thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of both Senate Files 4431 and 3969. As a high schooler, I played percussion and had the same band teacher each year. Early on, this teacher made me feel special by asking me to help him organize music or move instruments after class. Over the course of the 4 years, he slowly began to isolate me from friends and family, normalized touching me and communicating as if we were close friends. On an international band trip to Greece, this escalated to him showing a romantic interest in me, manipulating seating charts so I was always next to him on the airplane, pulling me away from the group on tours. Back at school, he used religion as a form of control, stating that God put me in his life for a reason and made me believe that I had to marry him because of the things I had done. On the morning of my last day of high school, he sexually assaulted me in the band lesson room. He put his hands down the back of my pants and the front of my shirt. I froze and I cried. That same day, he sent me a photograph of a handwritten note saying, "My love for you will always exist. It will last forever." I graduated the next day, and the sexual abuse continued into my early college years. Due to the years of grooming, I believed that I was an active participant in my abuse and that I had caused it to happen. I did not tell anyone the full story until Detective Chad Clausen from the Egan Police Department found me during the investigation into this teacher in 2022. My story exposed numerous gaps in our state laws that need to be strengthened to better protect K-12 students from sexual abuse, especially when it involves educator misconduct. At the end of both the police and MDE investigations, my former band teacher still had a valid teaching license, so I filed a citizen's complaint with Pelsby. I needed to type out what happened to me, reread the 100-page police report, and relive it all again. I had to agree to give my contact information and home address, understanding that in the event this went to a hearing, the public and my abuser would be able to view this information. After filing the complaint, I chose to move because I didn't want to risk my abuser having access to my home address. In the end, 9 months after I filed the complaint, he voluntarily surrendered his license, choosing to waive his right to a hearing, resulting in no formal accountability for his actions. When a victim survivor submits a complaint themselves, this is a significant decision to re-engage with the abuser. This feels scary, and it impacts your safety. Investigative data sharing between agencies prevents future victim survivors from having to file their own complaint like I did. Two other key components of my experience are mandated reporting and grooming. In the police investigation, there were educators in the school who observed concerning patterns of behavior and did not report it. I do not believe that these individuals had ill will. I believe that they did not know what grooming was or how to identify the signs, and that proper training would have solved this. Often when I share that I was groomed and sexually assaulted, most people focus in on the sexual assaults as being the most horrific and impactful. But for me, the 5+ years of grooming were even more harmful to my long-term health and well-being. It was years of psychological manipulation that harmed my understanding of intimate relationships, my own value, and my ability to trust others. Grooming is the creation of a false world made just for you. It lures you in by making you feel special, seen, understood, and then it preys on every vulnerability you have until you're trapped by shame. Shame wants you to hide, and hiding protects your abuser. Grooming is not a precursor to abuse. It is abuse all on its own. Establishing grooming as a felony and clarifying it as a form of maltreatment can prevent this abuse from escalating to sexual assault, and it recognizes that grooming alone causes substantial harm to a K-12 student, regardless of their age. Thank you.
We're going to hear from Mr. Clausen, but thank you for your bravery and courage.
My name is Chad Clausen. I'm a detective with the Egan Police Department. Chair Kwadzinski and members of the committee, thank you for this opportunity to speak in support of Senate File 3969 and 4431. I'm the detective who investigated Hannah's case. Although there were no criminal charges, that outcome was not due to a lack of probable cause. It was due to gaps in Minnesota laws in 2016 regarding positions of authority in high school students. Some of those gaps were addressed in 2021, but others remain, many of which are included in these bills. Data sharing. It is standard practice to interview children and/or victim survivors of sexual abuse only once when feasible. Requiring data sharing between Pellsby, counties, and MDE follow this accepted approach. MDE investigations. Delayed disclosure is common in grooming and child sexual abuse cases, and this was true with Hannah. I first interviewed Hannah in April of 2022, nearly 6 years after she graduated high school. Because of the 3-year limitation, Hannah was never interviewed by MDE investigators. Preventing investigations solely based on time protects offenders, not students. Removing the 3-year limit allows MDE to conduct a complete investigation. Grooming as a standalone crime. Appropriate relationships are the foundation of school safety, between students, between staff, and between staff and students. Every student needs a trusted adult in their school, and our schools and communities need teachers to have professional, healthy relationships with their students. Grooming is always intentional. One cannot accidentally groom a child. Grooming is the deliberate, slow process of building a false sense of trust with the child with the intent of making future sexual abuse easier, regardless whether any sexual violence occurs. During the investigation, I observed troubling and consistent patterns of deceptive behavior that followed a clear playbook to groom multiple students. The volume and content of the communication was alarming. I noticed similar phrases, themes, and tactics used by the perpetrator to manipulate and control numerous students. Grooming a minor with the intent to sexually abuse them has already been established in 12 states as a felony. Waiting until physical violence occurs allows more harm. This ensures equal protection for all enrolled students. In closing, finally, defining student. Many K-12 students are enrolled past the age of 18. The power imbalance between teacher and student does not disappear on a birthday. This ensures equal protection and for all enrolled students. In closing, a teacher cannot accidentally groom a student. It is not a one-time event. Grooming is a process that can take years. Grooming is not a precursor to abuse. Grooming is abuse. Hannah endured over 5 years of grooming, a trauma that has deeply impacted her life, and still the perpetrator faced no consequences. These proposals are practical, preventative, and focused on child safety. They target predatory behavior, not educators. Thank you for your time.
Members, any questions for the testifiers? And members that are online, I would just ask that you raise your hand or however. Senator Abler?
Well, thanks. Thanks, Ms. Lepresto, for coming. I'm just frankly speechless, and some things are just wrong. So I'll just leave it very short, but thank you, and God bless you.
Senator Kunish?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you really very much for coming in and sharing your story. It's heartbreaking, and I think, as you mentioned, often re-traumatizing to tell your story. And in the work, some of the work that I've done, I've worked with violence against women specifically and young girls, and the fact that it took so long for you to have the courage to speak up and speak your truth, and then to fill out the bureaucracy that it took to name your violator is just super courageous. I want to thank you for doing that, and it's not just for you, but for all those other students. You know, we know boys and girls both are targeted very easily. And so thank you, Senator Maye Quade, also for bringing this forward. And thank you, Sergeant or Detective, for taking this seriously enough and being here today to recognize that we all have to work together on this really horrifying vulnerability that happens with our students. And so just wanted to say thank you for bringing this forward, and thank you for having the courage to be here and share the story.
and I won't keep saying this, but members that are online, just make sure somehow you get our attention throughout the hearing today. And we have two more testifiers, but before you leave the dais, thank you both. I don't know what to, with my colleague, Senator Abler, I'm speechless, and so your courage and bravery, and so this, as Senator Maye Quade said, this doesn't happen again, is I don't, again, speechless. Thank you, Senator Maye Quade, for bringing this forward, and say hi to one of the finest human beings, your uncle, that I've ever had the privilege and honor of knowing, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. The next two testifiers, come on up both online. Deb Korhaus and Mr. Rooney, if you guys could join us. And if the two testifiers could stay, because I think they might be needing for the next bill as well. Ms. Korhaus, if you could begin your testimony.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Deb Korhaus, and I'm an attorney with Education Minnesota, speaking briefly today on Senate File 3969. We support the additional training components envisioned in this bill. We provide this training to our members, both on boundaries and on mandatory reporting, and historically, they've been some of the most requested trainings, meaning educators and their union leaders are seeking out more information on these topics. We agree that it's important for mandatory reporters to have this information in order to meet their obligations. We also want to thank the author for deleting Section 1 because there are many circumstances when staff are required to be alone with students for IEP, medical, confidentiality, and other safety reasons. And that's the conclusion of my comments on this particular bill, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Mr. Rooney.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members. My name is Adosh Uni. I'm the Director of Government Relations for the Minnesota Department of Education. And I appreciate the opportunity to provide some short comments and general support for both of these efforts. And I also appreciate the opportunity to connect with Senator Maye Quade on both of these bills. We believe action in this space is critical to providing protections and justice for our students in these cases of grooming. And just briefly on the bill up right now, SF 3969, we believe that we can partner with DCYF and their existing model to help provide the training on boundaries and mandatory reporting. And with clarification on maltreatment timelines for grooming and possibly other criminal sexual abuse allegations, and with the right team, we would be able to investigate these cases with fidelity. And on the next bill, on SF 4431 regarding changes to teacher licensure provisions, just want to let the committee know that we're supportive and we're in active conversations with our partners at Pelsby to make sure we can share critical information, but also be in line with state and federal law around data privacy. We're confident that we can come to a solution around making sure that Pelsby has the right information to be able to take quick action. And with that, I'll just thank the committee again for the opportunity to provide short comments and support for these efforts.
Thank you. Members, any final questions for this bill? Okay. Senator Maye Quade, any final closing remarks?
Well, First, I want to again thank Hannah and thank Detective Clausen for coming and for spending so much time being advocates. It is incredibly hard to turn your story into a piece of legislation to fix the holes in law that allowed what happened to you to happen to you and for your perpetrator to go largely unpunished. And that takes a tremendous amount of work and vulnerability, and then to do it over and over again is just I cannot state how grateful I am for both of them for their work. This is just one bill of many I have, Mr. Chair, related to this issue. I have a bill that would remove the statute of limitations for civil liability for child sexual abuse, which would apply in this case. This isn't judiciary, I won't go too far into it. And the next bill deals with reporting requirements. We've essentially created a bunch of places in law where we've legalized the sexual violence against young women and girls in particular, and I'm hoping to close those loopholes. And this is one of those bills, and I'm so grateful to have strong advocates as we move this forward.
Thank you, Senator Maye Quade. I just, 33 years of teaching, I don't ever remember during a workshop week us getting information or guidance or feedback or testimony or anything with respect to this. So I hope the school districts maybe we'll start making the staff aware of what their role, of what needs to be done. And so, again, I can't thank you enough for your courage and bravery, as I've said 3 times now. So thank you, and again, Detective Clausen, thank you. Thank you, Senator Maye Quade. Senator Maye Quade renews her motion for Senate File 3969 as amended, be recommended to pass and referred to the Committee on Judiciary. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, this bill is on its way to the Judiciary Committee. Next, we'll hear Senate File 4431. Today, the intention is to send this bill to the Committee on Judiciary. Senator Maye Quade, would you like to make a motion for Senate File 4431 to be recommended to pass and referred to committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair, so moved.
Okay, so all those, okay, to your bill, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this bill is what I would just consider a companion to my first bill, Senate File 3969. This details into the places where there is mandatory reporting on and licensure modification changes when there are reports of maltreatment, abuse, and a educator is discharged, suspended, retires, or resigns. So there were gaps identified, and Ms. Lopresto actually identified that very clearly in sharing her story. I will say that there are a lot of ongoing moving pieces to make sure that we're getting the exact parts of, you know, an educator who retires or is suspended, to make sure that we're getting who we want to have information about and who we don't. So this is ongoing, and I appreciate the conversations I've had this weekend, both with Pelsby and MDE and Education Minnesota. But that is the purpose of this bill, is to really plug the holes that existed in licensure and reporting and data sharing.
Thank you, Senator. And the testifiers are all the same. Do you or any of the testifiers online care to add anything to this particular bill that you didn't already say?
Mr. Chair, if that question is directed to me, I do have some comments on this particular bill.
Okay, yeah, Ms. Courthouse.
Yes, sir, okay. All right, and focusing on this particular bill, it's our understanding from meeting with the author in the other body that the teacher ethics district reporting bill, as in its current form, does not meet its intended mission. The intent, as we understand it, is to catch cases where a non-tenured or non-continuing contract teacher is simply let go at the end of a contract year for a disciplinary reason when no disciplinary procedure is invoked. The way this language is drafted, however, it requires a district to report all probationary non-renewals, including those for budgetary reasons or non-disciplinary lack of good fit reasons. This burdens districts with unnecessary reporting and obligates them to create and document an explanation of a decision where they did not necessarily have to do so in the past. From a teacher perspective, it turns a run-of-the-mill non-renewal of a brand new teacher into a potential ethics review. These reviews are very frightening for our members, and at times even lead members to leave the profession entirely because they feel so targeted. Every letter of inquiry includes the phrase, quote, "The board is authorized to suspend or revoke teaching licenses," and in addition says, quote, "The board may also impose other sanctions short of revocation or suspension if warranted," unquote. These investigations are very serious matters. Even if the board chooses not to pursue an investigation with an individual licensee, their school districts can still use the threat of a report to attempt to entice someone to resign rather than be non-renewed, which would then make them ineligible for unemployment and be a cost savings to the district. In addition, the bill's usage of the language non-renewal only covers Tier 3 and Tier 4 educators who work in traditional public schools. So the draft on its face omits Tier 1s, Tier 2s, and charter school teachers. We would like to work with the author to fine-tune this language to better meet the stated objective. Lastly, the bill also includes data sharing language that raises a significant concern for us. Right now, our members are not consistently receiving the same information that Pelsby does about allegations against them, either from the districts or from MDE's maltreatment division. They are left to try to piece together an explanation without knowing exactly what has been claimed. This means they're unable to explain, for example, that a district used the wrong date in its report, which changes the sequence of events, or that a district inadvertently submitted data about a different colleague, or that there's missing information, that an allegation was explained in the interview and ultimately not credited as truthful. In the interest of having a full right to respond and an opportunity for PELSB to have a full investigation, we would ask that any data provided to PELSB be also available to the licensee prior to them being required to respond to these allegations. This is the only fair and reasonable approach when someone's due process rights to a license are on the line. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I understand Senator Maye Quade and Pelsby are in conversation, yeah, okay, with you on this language that she, some of the points our testifier just brought up. Okay, thank you. Is that accurate, Senator?
Yes, Mr. Chair, in conversation with all of the folks, not just Pelsby, but making sure that the intent of the bill is what the language does, and I'm working very closely with my, some bills are driven by the House author, some are driven by the Senate author. Purpose is driven by both, but the language is driven by the House, so we'll continue to work with the other body, excuse me.
Well, it's great work, so keep it up. Senator Abler?
Well, thanks, and just a comment. So I appreciate all the work on this, and just Ms. Lopresto, again, you're still sitting here on this bill, and I'm happy you are. And what you get to learn here in this education committee is that some of the stuff takes a little bit of work, and there's a lot of nuance to it. Also, I think in your life, you'll also learn that when people invoke God's name and abuse people, God doesn't like that, and I think it doesn't go well for those people either now or in the hereafter. So, thank you.
Members? This is, Senator Maye Quade, any closing comments?
No, Mr. Chair, I appreciate the committee giving me the time and look forward to bringing this to the floor.
Thank you for bringing it forward. So, thank you, Senator Maye Quade. You renew your motion that Senate File 4431 be recommended to pass and referred to the committee, the Judiciary Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. We'll see you in Judiciary, and thank you again, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We have student, I don't know, the snow day might have gotten in the way of how wonderful. We had hoped the students, our 6 testifying students would have the opportunity to come down to the Capitol and testify in person, but because of the snow days, I do believe all of them, most of them are gonna be remotely, so I'll just go in order of the names. The first students from Egan High School, Ankit?
Hi there. Yes.
Go ahead, thanks. And say your name for the committee, please.
Yeah, my name is Ankit Mukhopadhyay.
Begin.
Good morning, Chairman Swazinski and distinguished members of the Senate Education Policy Committee. My name is Ankit Mukhopadhyay, and I'm a current senior at Egan High School. I'm a resident of District 56. Good morning, Senator McQuaid. It is my pleasure to share with you all my high school experience. I have truly enjoyed the education that I've received and the opportunities I've had as a student. Egan High School does an excellent job of not only providing an exemplary education with numerous advanced and specialized courses, but also of encouraging students to take advantage of the opportunities around them. Through these opportunities, I've been able to explore my passions, find my voice within my community, and develop strong leadership and civic responsibility skills. At Egan, students are encouraged to pursue activities that connect to their interests and aspirations, whether that's debate, business, or in my case, youth in government. As many of you may know, it is a program where over 1,600 students from across Minnesota gathered to create a fully student-run mock government. It was there that I discovered my passion for advocacy and my aspiration to one day hold public office. This year, I had the honor of serving as the Lieutenant Governor, where I saw how young people, some of whom who had never heard of the Bill to Law process, could come together, navigate disagreements, and debate real-world issues that affect our daily lives. Experiences beyond the classroom are essential because they prepare students for life after high school. They give young people the confidence to use their voices and engage with their communities. Unfortunately, not every school has the same opportunities. Some of my favorite memories from high school have been applying what I learned, from creating a Spanish skit to present at the Minnesota Zoo, to spending a week here at the Minnesota State Capitol as a high school page. These experiences have shown me how education can prepare students to give back to their communities. For the past 2 years, I've also had the honor of serving on District 196 Legislative Advisory Council. In this role, I've been able to share my peers' perspectives and ensure that student voices are included in shaping our district's annual legislative platform. That experience has reinforced how important it is for young people to be included in conversations that affect their education and their future. I'm incredibly proud to represent Egan High School, and am deeply grateful for the opportunities my school and community have given me. I hope that every student in Minnesota has access to experiences like these. As I conclude, I want to thank my teachers, both past and present, for their support and dedication. They have not only made me a better student, but a better leader and advocate for my community. Thank you once again, members of the committee, for your time and consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think after each student, we'll just take a question or two if there's any, so, and then they can leave if they want. I'll get back to class. Senator Maye Quade.
It's good to see you again. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome to the committee. Thank you so much for your service to the state as Lieutenant Governor, and for your work on the Youth and Government Committee, and for coming and sharing this. I'm such a proud ISD 196 grad, and it's always great to have more in the room to talk about how we're the best school district in the state.
Thank you.
Thank you. Among the best school districts in the state. Do you dress like that every day?
No, I don't. We actually, we had a snow day today, so I'm home. Thought I'd dress up a little bit.
You walked right out of a 1950s sitcom if you dress like that around the house. So, anyways, thank you for that testimony. Thank you for that testimony. You do your school proud, and thanks for coming in. I can see why Senator Maye Quade asked you to testify. You're taking full advantage of your high school career, and for that we thank you. And I always appreciate it when students say experiences beyond the cells and bells of the classroom are as important of what happens in the classroom. So thanks for seizing all those opportunities that are available to you. Next up, we have Madeline Risk.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Good to go?
Yes, go ahead, identify yourself. We're sorry, or I am, I should say. Everybody else is doing perfect. So yes, identify yourself for the record and then begin your testimony.
My name is Maddie Risk.
Go ahead.
Members of the committee, my name is Maddie Risk, and I'm an 11th grader at the School of Environmental Studies in Apple Valley. I'd like to thank Senator Maye Quade for inviting me to speak here today. I truly have had an excellent experience in my schooling, especially with my high school. My favorite thing about school is being able to do big and hands-on projects. Myself and my fellow juniors kicked off this school year with the pond projects, where we got to go out into the field in waders, collecting qualitative and quantitative data about the natural environment. From there, we took that information, analyzed it, and used the platform ArcGIS to present it to members of the city of Egan. The work didn't just feel like the next assignment in a long line of suffering. Knowing that by the end of it we would be reaching out to our community made it feel so much more real and tangible. On that note, the School of Environmental Studies, as you may have guessed from the name, puts a huge emphasis on taking time to be outside. I think that every school in Minnesota should follow suit as much as they can. Being able to breathe fresh air, whether just for a brain break or actually taking the lesson outside, is one of the most amazing things ever. Not only does it allow for a nice change of pace from being indoors all day, but being in nature, whether sitting outside on the grass or actually going into the woods, tends to be a good reset for me, as well as my peers, so that we can be more tuned into the learning and the material in front of us. My most exciting part of the day, similarly, tends to be whenever we do have that outside time, whether we're documenting our surroundings, keeping nature journals for the purpose of phenology, which is the study of the changing of seasons, we learned that, or just like visiting the chickens. One time there was this huge flock of turkeys roosted in the trees by our school, and we watched them while filling out journal entries and doing some research on them. However, not everything is perfect. It rarely is. If I had the ability to just snap my fingers and make one change, I would make it so that across all schools, not just the School of Environmental Studies, experiential education was the go-to, instead of rote learning. Giving kids a why to what they are learning not only helps us stay engaged with it, but also helps keep it in our minds longer term. Additionally, giving a memory to the knowledge, besides just the memory of staring at a textbook, can give it so much more value. It also gives kids an internal motivation, something crucial to students in their education. Thank you for your time and your continued support of public education. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maddie, thank you so much for coming. I don't know how often we get zoo school students here, but I want to tell everybody that the School of Environmental Studies, SES, or zoo school as we call it in 196, is such a unique school. It is for juniors and seniors. It is a partnership with the Minnesota Zoo, and frankly, the coolest kids go to zoo school. Like, we all know that. It's very selective, and so I didn't go there. But it's just so cool to hear the experience now. And, you know, Maddie is right. Like, having the ability to see and touch and research and do it, it does more than just looking at a textbook. And Maddie, I think you have great things ahead of you. So thank you so much for giving such a compelling example of what a great zoo school student looks like. And thank you for coming to the committee.
Thank you, members, and thank you, Ms. Risk, for coming in. Your passion for being a student is infectious, and I'd love to know. I often wonder about the nature versus nurture argument in raising our kids, and when I meet two wonderful students like you and your peer from Egan, I just revisit that topic, you know. And your point about getting kids outside is well taken. I think that's a wave of the future, is getting more kids in recess through 12th grade and not giving up on it after grade school. Does, as you said, it resets your batteries, or however you worded it. So thank you for coming in today. Next up, Emily Bank from Winona, followed by Miriam Jackson from Winona.
Okay. Good afternoon, members of the Education Committee. My name is Emily Benke. I'm a senior at the Winona Senior High School. Education in school is something steady in my life, and it's hard to picture my life without education. It's something I rely on, that's always been there. I know many students wouldn't agree with that statement. I've just worked my butt off to get to where I am now. My mom didn't go to college, and my dad dropped out of high school to get his GED. I don't have like the smart genes either that many people do. I put in hours of work every day just to be about to head to college and feel like nothing paid off. From my perspective, colleges don't care that I'm a first-generation college student because my dad makes a lot of money. They also see my GPA and give like the highest scholarships, which equals to just about nothing. I also know FAFSA is the federal government, but I won't be getting very much from them either. So that leaves me with student loans, which I have no clue how they work. Just because my dad makes a lot of money, almost all of it goes back into his business. My parents don't have a college fund set up and aren't paying for my college. There's also nothing set up for students like me who have worked so hard to try and get a scholarship just to have nothing in return. I feel like years of dedication and sacrifice to try to get scholarships didn't pay off. I also never had room for classes like AVID to teach me what to do after high school financially. I had to figure it out on my own, since the counselors at school and the teachers are always very busy and have a lot of stress already. Classes or seminars to help navigate college in high school would be extremely helpful. I wish I would have known that putting in a lot of work wouldn't have paid off before I did it. Other students are also going through the same thing as I am now. I also know it's important to be involved, so I wish being involved paid off. In the past month, I was governor at the model legislature being held at Winona State. That activity pushes me to continue to want change in Minnesota, and I wish more people took up the opportunity to be involved politically in high school. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you for coming in. I'm not sure if Senator Miller is joining us. Okay, Ms. Banke, we could have used your testimony a couple years ago when we were having the financial literacy required to graduate debate. I think your message of struggling to pay for college would have not fallen on deaf ears. So, so hopefully now that we require that class, maybe you'll be one of the last high school students that are struggling to figure out how to pay for college. So thank you for coming in today. Next up, Miriam Jackson.
Members of the committee, my name is Miriam Jackson, and I'm an 11th grader at Winona Senior High School. My favorite part of school is being involved in FFA. FFA is an agriculture organization for students grades 7 through 12, and it's run by students. This has shaped me to who I am, but also has shown me what I want to pursue in the future as agriculture education. Deeper than that, there are hands-on opportunities and experiences I get from FFA. These things include working with plants in the greenhouse, speaking contest, running hydroponics farms, or just 2 weeks ago, I was up at the Capitol getting to meet with legislators. But by far, the best part is getting to meet people from all around the state. These people include other FFA members, students, and educators. If I could have the ability to change one thing in education, it would be that the book and curriculum are not the only parts of education. Students need to be pushed a little further to keep learning. They must step out of their comfort zone. At my school, I manage a cockroach colony. This is definitely not part of the typical high school learning plan or something I even wanted to do at first. But through it, I've learned more about the animal life cycle, breeding, and conflict than I ever could have hoped to learn before college. As well as my school's hydroponic systems that I run, where I grow 200 plus pounds of lettuce a month that are eaten by the school in the cafeteria. This has introduced me to hundreds of people that I would never have met if I had just sat in a classroom. I've won several awards through the Minnesota State and have done over a dozen media interviews. Teaching and learning are so much more than the book and curriculum. It is the opportunity to evolve and be pushed just a little further by someone who wants to see you be better and succeed. I hope that every student has a chance to be pushed and get out of the drawn lines of the curriculum and the textbook. Thank you for asking for student input and allowing our voices to be heard.
Thank you for that testimony. We appreciate it. Next up, is Charlie Laguerre here? We don't see him. Okay, Cora Britton from Fillmore.
Hello, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Cora Britton, and I'm a senior at Fillmore Central High School. One of the things I enjoy most about my school day is getting to interact with so many different people. Of course, I love spending time with my friends, but I've also made a lot of unexpected friendships through sports, the arts, and different clubs and organizations. These experiences have helped me connect with people I might have never interacted with if I was not involved in these various activities that are offered at my school. And another thing I really enjoy about being in school is being in a place where everyone is focused on learning and growing. Being surrounded by my peers who are working towards their goals really motivates and keeps pushing myself to do better in my schoolwork. One opportunity that has meant a lot to me is being involved in clubs like National Honor Society. Through National Honor Society, I've had the chance to participate in a variety of volunteer opportunities in my community. I've helped at a local daycare center and spent many visiting experiences in different nursing homes and veteran homes in our area. And these experiences have given me the chance to really get to know people in my community, especially the elderly, and listen to their stories and build connections with them. And it's something that really helped me discover a passion for helping people. So programs like this are so valuable because they give students the chance to try new things while also giving back to their communities. I've also been lucky to have a lot of very influential teachers during my time in school, and they've shown me how important education is and have made learning feel exciting and rewarding. So having teachers who truly care about their students can make a huge difference in someone's school experience. So if I could change one thing about my school and schools across Minnesota, it would be to offer more classes so students can explore different interests because not every student knows exactly what they want to do in their future. So having more course options can really help people discover new passions or career paths that they might have not considered before. I come from a very small school, and sometimes that means that we don't have the same learning opportunities as larger schools with more students and more funding. Fillmore Central offers a variety of agricultural programs, which are great for students who are interested in that field. However, we have very few courses available for students who are interested in STEM-related careers. So offering more classes in areas like science, technology, engineering, and math could really help students explore those interests and prepare for future careers in that field. Of course, offering more classes means schools need the support to make that possible, and this would include funding for schools and the teachers and the materials that are needed to teach these courses. So providing those resources would give students more opportunities to be able to learn, to grow, and to find what they're passionate about. Thank you for the honor of speaking today, and thank you for your support in students in their education.
Thank you. We love hearing unexpected friendships you meet by joining clubs that maybe you weren't going to necessarily join. So one more call out to Charlie Laguerre. Okay, I think Senator Miller would like to say a few things.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. And members, I just want to take a moment to thank the students from Winona Senior High School as well as Fillmore Central for coming in and sharing their story today.
Thank you, Senator Miller.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Senator Miller, and thank you to all the student testifiers for coming in today. Next, we'll hear Senate File 3983. Senator Boldon, welcome to the committee. Today, the intention is to send Senate File 3983 to the Committee on Education and Finance. Senator Boldon, would you like to make a motion for Senate File 3983 to be recommended and passed and referred to the Committee on Education and Finance?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you.
So moved. Senator Boldon, I understand you have the A1 amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I do. Which comes after, it's an author's amendment, which just comes after getting some technical assistance and making some tweaks to have the language in the order in which we would like it.
Members, any questions on the A1 amendment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Senator Boldon, to your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members for hearing this bill today. Before I begin, I want to recognize and express my deepest condolences for the families, students, and staff of Annunciation Catholic School as they continue to grieve the unimaginable tragedy of August 27th of last year. No parent should ever endure the heartbreak of losing a child to senseless gun violence. As we honor the 2 young lives taken as they prayed and support the many children and parishioners who were injured, I want to remind us that there is still hope and that we have the power to make meaningful change. It is our responsibility, I believe, as legislators, to take action that helps us to prevent the next tragedy. This bill represents one important prevention tool. Anonymous threat reporting systems, or ATRS, are essential to stopping violence before it occurs. Schools routinely face a cultural barrier among teens who fear being labeled a snitch, which is why anonymity is absolutely critical. An effective ATRS should provide round-the-clock coverage and include a behavioral threat assessment team that reviews reports and determines when law enforcement involvement is necessary. Much of the language in this bill reflects recommendations from Sandy Hook Promise and aligns with best practices that every school has an ATRS supported by a local behavioral threat analysis team. But we also recognize the significant challenges that schools face today, especially when it comes to funding. Because of these realities, this bill gives districts a choice. They may use and promote the Department of Public Safety's statewide anonymous threat reporting system, or if they wish, they may implement their own local system. For districts choosing to create their own ATRS, they must also provide public education about the system and offer an evidence-based violence prevention training that teaches students how to identify and report warning signs. A locally implemented system must be available 24 hours a day, be staffed by individuals trained in evidence-based counseling and crisis intervention, share relevant information promptly with school-based teams, support a coordinated emergency response, including 911 when appropriate. If a district instead uses this already existent statewide system, it must ensure that students, families, employees, and community members receive clear information about how the system works. This information must also be included on the district website, in the student handbook, and in annual notices to parents. And with that, Mr. Chair, I do have a testifier with me, so would turn it over to them.
Thank you, Senator. If your testifiers could please come up and identify yourself for the record, and welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Drew Evans. I'm the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension currently operates an anonymous threat reporting app. I will say that, from our perspective and the work that we do at the BCA, we find it very important for schools and communities across the state to have some level of threat reporting. If a community and a school district chooses to implement their own, that's great. Often those local teams that do threat assessment within each of their jurisdictions is often best situated to analyze whether it's a threat, whether the child needs something, additional resources, et cetera. What I will tell you from our work that we do is it's also backstopped by what we call a behavioral threat assessment and management team that we call BTAM for short. It is broader than just school threats at the BCA. But what we know about people that commit mass violence and students in these situations where we see school shootings or mass violence within our schools is when they become on a pathway to violence, that can often be interrupted to where it doesn't happen at all. And so this sort of reporting puts us in a position with anonymous reporting to be able to get the resources before a terrible event happens. Sometimes a law enforcement intervention is appropriate when it's a true threat, but oftentimes it's a student or a child that's calling out for help, where those local teams and others can put the resources around that student, that child, so that they never end up in a place where a mass violent event happens. If the school district chooses to do their own, that's great. We'd still like to hear that reporting so we understand in case a student moves around the state, so we know that. If not, this system has been in place. It's called See It, Say It, Send It is the current app that we use in Minnesota, where people can call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then that BTAM team is also there to provide as a backstop if the local jurisdiction doesn't have a team in place and to provide supports to them. So we're very much supportive of anonymous reporting apps at the state. We think that they're a great tool. We think that there's a whole bunch of things that need to go in place to prevent mass violence events from occurring in our school districts, and this is one important tool that can be utilized. I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chair, from the committee.
Members, any questions? Thank you. Senator Boldon, do you have one more testifier? Oh, okay. Identify yourself for the record, begin your testimony, and unmute yourself, please. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the community. I am Rick Kaufman. For more than 30 years, I've worked in and with schools across the country on safety, security, and behavioral threat assessment. The past 19 years as Executive Director of Emergency Management for Bloomington Public Schools, and previously co-leader of the Columbine Crisis Response Team. I'm also speaking today on behalf of the Association of Metropolitan School Districts. We appreciate the legislature's focus on anonymous reporting systems. When they're designed well, they're among the most effective tools we have to prevent violence. Security cameras, access control, and hardened buildings help schools respond to threats, but they rarely identify a threat before it occurs. Anonymous reporting systems allow students and community members to surface warning signs early on so adults can intervene before a crisis develops. The success of these systems, however, does not depend on the technology platform. The critical question is what happens after a tip is submitted. Who receives the information? How is it evaluated? And how quickly it reaches the people responsible for responding. Now, as noted by Superintendent Evans, Minnesota currently operates the statewide anonymous reporting system. Individuals can submit tips through the app and other reporting methods, and those tips are monitored 24/7. The system is a good starting point. However, anonymous reporting to function as a true violence prevention tool for schools must have clear operational standards. Across nearly every reporting system in the country, most tips do not involve crimes. They involve bullying, suicidal ideation, concerning behavior, or students in distress. These situations require early intervention by schools and behavioral threat assessment teams, often long before law enforcement needs to be involved. For that reason, it is critical that information submitted through a reporting system reaches school professionals quickly, enough for them to assess risk and intervene. That's not happening now. This legislation takes important steps by encouraging anonymous reporting and requiring schools to identify teams to receive reports. However, it does not yet establish clear standards for threat evaluation, prioritization, or coordination between reporting systems, schools, and law enforcement, nor does it provide funding to support the implementation of these efforts. Based on my experience, I offer another consideration, one that strengthens Minnesota's existing statewide system rather than asking individual districts to build or purchase separate platforms. By enhancing the current BCA managed reporting system, the state, in addition to establishing consistent standards for 24/7 monitoring and professional triage, there's threat classification and a coordinated response with both schools and law enforcement. A strengthened statewide model would ensure that students, families, and community members have a clearly recognized way to report concerns anywhere in Minnesota. It would also help reduce inequities between large and small districts by providing shared infrastructure and trained professionals, common response protocols that many local systems would struggle to sustain independently. We support the goal of this legislation, and we encourage legislators to strengthen it so that Minnesota builds a reporting system that truly helps prevent violence before it occurs. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, both testifiers. Members, or I should say member. We do have members online. Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. I just had a quick question about, something that I was thinking about with this bill as far as abuse of the anonymous reporting system. Are there provisions in place to prevent, say, if someone doesn't like another student every single week, putting forth an anonymous tip or anything like that?
Thank you for that question, Senator Boldon, or one of your testifiers care to address that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I maybe would phone a friend to see if they have experience of if that currently happens, how they address that.
You need to have the question. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair and Senator Coleman, good question, certainly.
Can you address, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, again, Drew Evans from the BCA, and Mr. Kaufman might have other. The research has shown when it comes to anonymous threat reporting apps that is a valid thing to think about, but it hasn't really played out when it comes to actually seeing that manifest in the anonymous reporting. Certainly, we do this now outside of with the current trends that we would get from schools, but in general, we have this app operating currently, and we do it, for example, with the National Threat Operations Center, which is an FBI-led operations center. If a national tip goes in, it is routed through the BCA at our Minnesota Fusion Center, which is done for years. Each one of the tips would be evaluated, and certainly if we saw that, we would address that. As Mr. Kaufman noted, the routing would go to the local jurisdictions for evaluation if it came into us, and certainly with the schools, and I would expect if that was occurring that people would address that as it comes up. If that pattern was identified. It certainly can't prevent, and I can't speak to the bill specifically, but we can't prevent that from never happening, but the research in this area has shown that it doesn't happen on a regular basis.
Mr. Kaufman, do you care to add anything?
I would concur with, this is Rick Kaufman, I would concur with Superintendent Evans. We see very little of it, but when it occurs, it's addressed with the individuals if we know them. But we've seen very little of those.
Senator Coleman, are we good?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any other questions. Senator Boldon, just thank you for bringing this forward. And I think one of the two testifiers talked about the general uniformness of making this statewide make sense. So appreciate that. Thank you, Senator. And with that, Senator Boldon Senator Boldon, do you have any closing remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you again to committee members for hearing this. I would just say, number one, I wish we didn't need this. I wish we didn't have to be having this conversation, but, we do, and here we are. And this is not going to solve every problem, but it is one piece of the puzzle to ensure that we are keeping our kids safe in schools, and hopefully allows us to identify issues and concerns and get resources to students before an event happens.
And again, thank you. With that, Senator Boldon renews her motion that Senate File 3983 as amended be recommended to pass and referred to the Committee on Education Finance. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, this bill will be referred to the Committee on Education Finance. Next up, we'll hear Senate File 371 Senate File 371 Senator Mann, welcome to the committee. There she is. Welcome to your committee. Today, the intention is to lay Senate File 3717 over for possible inclusion. Senator Mann, would you like to move Senate File 3717 before the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So moved. Senator Mann, I understand you have the A2 amendment.
I do. It's an author's amendment, kind of just clarifying the language, taking into consideration feedback we got from stakeholders.
Okay, anybody care to say anything about the A2 amendment? Although not, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Senator Mann, to your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 3717 requires that students with disabilities have a specific crisis plan tailored to their needs. We have fire drills and lockdown drills, and oftentimes these drills and practices do not take into consideration our most vulnerable kids. And so this just makes sure that they also have a plan that works for them, that they can follow so that we can keep all of our kids safe. Happy to move to testifiers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Mann. First up, Vicki Anderson online, and then Alicia Lane, and then Rick Kaufman is the order. So first up, Vicki Anderson, begin and identify yourself.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Am I not on video? There we go. Hi there. Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I'm Dr. Vicki Anderson. I'm an educational audiologist, and I'm representing the Minnesota Educational Audiologists as co-chair of our Emergency Preparedness Committee. And we support Senate File 3717. Minnesota has experienced many emergencies, including floods, fires, and tragically, most recently, the Annunciation shooting last August. Schools are not consistently thinking about students with disabilities when they plan for crises. Deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind students may not hear announcements or whispered instructions in dark rooms, and they may not have access to the same information as typically hearing students. The assumption that those kids will be fine, they'll follow the other students, is not accurate. They need access to the same information. Minnesota educational audiologists wanted to know what was being done in Minnesota and around the country to assure the safety of our students. We surveyed Minnesota educational audiologists, teachers for the deaf of hard of hearing, and the state representatives to the National Educational Audiology Association. And we had a good response to the 110 people that we surveyed. We had a 50%, 30 to 50% response rate, depending on the group. And what we found is that sadly only 15% of the Minnesota respondents routinely added specific accommodations for safety for deaf and hard of hearing and deaf-blind kids. And no one reported nationally routinely adding specific language to address the unique needs of deaf and hard of hearing children. We need crisis management policies for school districts and charter schools that address these unique needs for our deaf and hard of hearing and deaf-blind students and other students with unique disabilities. We support this bill because we believe it will improve the safety of deaf, hard of hearing, and deafblind students in Minnesota's public and charter schools. And we want to thank the bill authors for your support. We want to thank the committee members and the chair for your time. And we ask that you please support Bill Senate File 3717. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the testifier? Okay, next up, Alicia Lane.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Alicia Lane, and I am the Government Relations Director for the Minnesota Commission of the Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing. Thank you, Chair Swazinski, for the opportunity to speak in support of Senate File 3717. So please check your packets for testimony from Amy Lee. Amy Lee is a high school student, and Amy's story is a common experience for students with disabilities. The awful realization that your own school has no clear plan to keep you safe during emergencies. Also in your packets, please find my letter, which provides more policy detail. But for now, I'll go over a few key points. First, where do we at the Commission get our information? We are overseen by a governor-appointed board that includes members from all over the state. Over the past 10 years, we've built a statewide collaborative network of education professionals working with our students. We host a biennial conference for those professionals. There are multiple federal laws that already mandate that persons with disabilities be given equal opportunity to benefit from services at schools. This is underscored by the DOJ's successful enforcement actions against school districts for failing to address emergency evacuation plans for students with disabilities. This is something that our education professionals have tried to address for years. They've done surveys, they've repeatedly presented the findings, they've made recommendations and mandated reports to the legislature, and they've brought together districts, state agencies, and national organizations to create a best practices guide for safety planning, which you should also find attached to my letter. This is what it looks like. I'm holding it up here. So despite those resources, we are still receiving reports like Amy Lee's, which happened just a few months ago. Some districts have policies addressing disabilities, but we have noticed that these tend to focus on mobility disabilities and physical accessible evacuation routes, while overlooking communication access and other non-physical barriers. This piecemeal approach to basic safety is unacceptable and may expose districts to liability. Children with disabilities deserve to be as safe as everyone else. We urge you to support Senate File 3717. Thank you all for your time.
Members, any questions or comments? Thank you for your testimony. And we have
Great, thank you.
Rick Kaufman online.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Rick Kaufman, Executive Director of Emergency Management for Bloomington Public Schools. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Association of Metropolitan School Districts. We support the amended changes requiring crisis management policies to provide for the unique needs of students with mobility restrictions, sensory needs, developmental, physical disabilities, mental health needs, and auditory or visual limitations during crisis situations. Emergency planning must work for every student, and thoughtful planning for access and functional needs is a critical part of modern school safety. At the same time, current language in the bill leaves an important question unanswered. What does that expectation look like in practice for schools? The statute would require districts to adopt a policy statement, but it provides little guidance on how schools should translate that principle into operational planning. Research and national guidance on effective school emergency planning typically includes several practical elements: identifying students who may require additional support during emergencies, planning for communication and mobility needs, and ensuring procedures work across evacuation, sheltering, lockdown, and reunification situations. Just as important, schools increasingly train using modern emergency response frameworks that focus on protective action on individual incident types. The language in the current statute reflects an older model of drills that focuses on practicing specific incidents such as fire, evacuation, and lockdown drills. Today, most school systems across the country train very differently. More than 40,000 schools nationwide now use the Standard Response Protocol, or SRP, that was created by the I Love You Guys Foundation. In Minnesota, a review of major metro districts shows that roughly 4 out of 5 of our largest districts have adopted SRP or a similar framework. These models focus on practicing protective actions: evacuate, secure, lockdown, shelter, or hold, rather than drilling for a specific scenario. Research shows that this approach simplifies decision-making under stress and helps students and staff, even those most challenged, to apply the same actions across many different emergencies. For that reason, legislation should avoid prescribing overly narrow drill structures and instead allow districts to train using the modern emergency response frameworks that focus on protective actions for all students. Similarly, with respect to this amendment, schools would benefit from clear implementation guidance, not just additional mandates. A small addition directing MDE in consultation with the Minnesota School Safety Center to develop guidance and model resources would help districts translate this important principle into real-world planning. This approach maintains the intent of the bill, supports schools in implementation, and gets us closer to emergency planning that truly works for all of our students. This testimony is not about changing the intent of the legislation, and we appreciate Senator Mann for bringing this legislation amendment up. But it is about making sure Minnesota statute reflects how schools actually prepare for emergencies today. With a small adjustment to clarify implementation, this legislation can both strengthen school safety and align state law with modern evidence-based practices already being used in schools here and across the country. Again, thank you so much for your time and your commitment to safety of Minnesota students.
Thank you. Thank you to all testifiers. Members, any question? Senator Abler?
Well, thanks. Some things just seem to make sense, and this is one. I'm just surprised we haven't thought of this before, given our attention to students with special needs, you know. So anyway, just like, I have to think that there's a lot of districts that already do this. I haven't talked to my own district, but I'm sure if any district, Mr. Chair, is on top of this topic, it'd be Minnesota's largest, which, by the way, did not close school today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Abler. It did or did not close? Oh.
Of course, we only got 7 inches of snow, so that matters.
I think we were over a foot in our neck of the woods. Members, anybody else? Yeah, and Senator Mann, before your any final remarks, I can't believe we're having this conversation in 2027, quite frankly. So thank you for bringing this forward and bringing it to the attention of the committee and, frankly, all Minnesotans. And so any final comments, Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree. It's crazy we're having this conversation today, but I think it was just best said by a previous testifier that children with disabilities deserve to be as safe as anyone else. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator. And with that, Senator 3717, as amended, has been laid over for possible inclusion in the future omnibus bill. Next, we will hear Senate File 3368. Senator Clark, welcome to the committee. Today, the intention is to lay Senate File 3368 over for possible consideration in a future omnibus bill. Senator Boldon, please move. It's a snow day, so yeah. Do you want me to go? Sure. It's a bipartisan committee. Senator Abler, please move Senate File 3368 before the committee.
I thought I got the amendment. Senator Boldon.
You'll get
move
both.
Okay, fine. I'd like to move that, and I'd like to move the A1, please. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so are we, Senator Abler moves the A1 amendment. All those, and do you have anything to the A1 amendment before we vote on it?
Chair Swadsky, no, it's a delete all amendment, and I'll talk to it in my opening remarks.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the A1 amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, Senator Abler. Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Senator Clark, to your bill.
Thank you, Chair Swedzinski, and thank you, Senator Abler, for the detailed description of my delete all amendment. Noting that we were describing snow totals when we came in, 9.8 inches of snow at my official weather station in northeast Minneapolis. So we did pretty good, but not as good as I think what Senator Dr. Mann had. So as you passed the delete all amendment to this bill, this is because most sections of this bill were passed into law last year, and we thought that was the end of the discussion around this. Unfortunately, since the end of session 2025, we learned that the changes that we made to keep paraprofessionals in the classroom, and that's really what this bill is all about, is maintaining and keeping paraprofessionals in the classroom, according to MDE, applied only to special education paraprofessionals. So the changes we made, MDE said, oh, we think we only made them for special ed. And this amendment today refers to the current law. It makes it clear that this legislation applies to all instructional paraprofessionals. So overall, this bill relates to legislation making sure instructional paraprofessionals working with our students meet federal personnel requirements. Under No Child Left Behind and the Every Student Succeeds Act, as well as IDEA, Title I and special education, paras must be highly qualified to serve students. So this bill builds on the steps taken by this legislature in 2024, when MDE was directed to convene a working group to examine how to ensure paraprofessionals could meet that highly qualified designation. They identified two pathways, a testing option and a professional development option. Legislation passed last year codified these pathways and allows special education paraprofessionals to be deemed highly qualified either by passing a test or demonstrating professional development in writing and math. So this bill codifies those same two pathways for Title I paras, either the test or professional development that is currently in place for special education paraprofessionals. So this bill will keep about 4,800 paraprofessionals working in our schools and meeting the needs of our students. Joining me today are testifiers of this legislation, and I'll ask that they come forward. And since this is a bit wonky, and it does involve some math tests that we've asked Mr. Stinson to take in practice, I'll ask him to ask my testifiers to describe a bit more.
Begin when you're ready. Mr. Stinson, you're first, and identify yourself for the record and begin.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Chris Stinson. I'm the Policy Director for SEIU Local 284. We represent more than 10,000 school workers, including paraeducators, throughout the state of Minnesota. The legislature created a working group to address the issue of highly qualified paras in response to federal requirements. I provided staff support for SEIU's representative on that group, and unfortunately, she was not able to join us today. So you're getting kind of the second string. At the outset of the working group, we had strong agreement between labor and management that the feds got it wrong. Being good at taking standardized tests or having a degree does not make a para highly qualified. Everyone's heard about racial bias in standardized tests, but I was shocked to learn that 87% of white paras passed the Para-Pro test, but only 65% of Hispanic and Asian test takers, and only 48% of Black test takers passed the Para-Pro. The other test that Minnesota offers, Paraeducator, doesn't collect race and ethnicity data, so we have no idea how well that test stands up. I'll also point out that a recess para or a lunchroom para, someone who mostly assists with toileting, feeding, and lifts, or a para who works in an elementary setting doesn't need to know how to calculate the area of a parallelogram by breaking it up into two equilateral triangles, which is just one of the questions on that standardized test that I could not answer. The feds do provide a third option to be considered highly qualified. States and local districts can create their own assessment. So the working group went to work designing a local assessment that would allow paraeducators to demonstrate the competencies that do make you a great para. The labor and management groups pretty quickly agreed on those competencies too. Things like the ability to reinforce a safe, healthy, and effective teaching and learning environment, understanding strategies for assisting with the inclusion of students in various settings, and the ability to use strategies that promote the student's independence. Together, we came up with about 20 competencies that we thought every para should have before their first student contact day. And I want to pause and thank the legislature for your investment in paid para training many years ago. We all agree that districts can provide the training needed to demonstrate those competencies in the amount of time and with the funding that the legislature has already provided. So that's great. You all did really good work. The competency grid is being used now and is working for special education paras across the state, but Title I paras are not allowed to use the grid, and so they're limited to just that test or having an associate's degree, things that we all agree don't really make you a good para. The bill in front of you today fixes that. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Senator Abler.
Well, thanks. Mr. Stinson, thanks. It's always good when labor and management can work together. And just wanted to comment with your first thought. The feds could learn a lot from Minnesota. So,
I think that's true.
Thank you.
I'm dumbfounded by the parallelogram, and I mean it. So, is that test of it? What you after your testimony, I'd like to see that. I mean, this gets back to something we've talked about on this committee as long as I've been here, is the art versus the science of teaching. And, you know, those numbers that you gave about, I don't know, 86% versus 48% or whatever the two extremes were, it's just so horrifying. And when we want people that are applying because they love being with kids and they get the art of teaching, and for them to have to know what a parallelogram is just, it's not laughable, but it is. Okay, thank you. Next, please.
Thank you, Chair Swedzinski, members of the committee. My name is Dr. Justin Killian, and on behalf of the more than 80,000 members of Education Minnesota, I'm here to enthusiastically speak in favor of Senator Clark's bill, SF 3368, which further defines paraprofessional qualifications in Minnesota. I'd like to thank the legislator, just like my colleague from SEIU did, for what you did last year by codifying all of that work we did on special education paraprofessionals. And we share your confusion and your frustration about why this isn't applied to Title I paraprofessionals. I just wanted to bring up some things that have happened since we've last had a conversation about this. As Mr. Stinson pointed out to you, we did get the pass rates for the paraeducator and the parapro from the Minnesota Department of Education, and they are gross. They're really, really bad. And we don't know why it took this level of investigating for the Department of Education to finally see that this is a problem. We also have been asking for a way to get our Title I paraprofessionals secure in their role. And the answer has always been that you can show 2 years of higher education or you can pass a state or local approved assessment. Well, in Indiana, they have the federal government's permission to use a competency rubric. We've shared that with the Department of Education. Wisconsin has a similar competency rubric. The states of Washington and Oregon have also taken steps to do something different than a standardized based test. But in Minnesota, we remain wedded to the paraeducator, the parapro, and now something they're calling the parapathway. Last week in the House of Representatives, I had one of my members testify who can't be here today. In 1992, she came to St. Paul as a refugee and graduated from St. Paul Public Schools. In 1992, she began her career as a paraeducator in the St. Paul Public School Department. And yes, I said 1992. In 2006, when federal law changed, she completed an assessment rubric to keep her job and prove that she was qualified to do her work. In 2024, because of confusing and contradictory guidance from our state Department of Education, her job was threatened. And she was told unless she could pass the standardized test in a language that is not her first language, she would lose her job even though she's been an exemplary employee. It took me, her local union, and her human resource director working in tandem to save her job. And I was so frustrated after that meeting that I, myself, with too much education, went and registered for the Parapro. And I was sent the study guide. And the study guide includes the parallelogram question that Mr. Stinson brought up, and I have reproduced that for you all today. I want you to imagine trying to answer this question in a language that's not your first when this never comes up as part of your job. Like, the early childhood special education classroom isn't doing parallelogram math. So this member's job was put on the jeopardy and she was put into a crisis and a panic for reasons that she didn't ever need to be. And I wish she was the outlier. But for 2 years, I've been taking these calls from our terrified members. We don't fault management. We would be just as confused if we were making their same call of balls and strikes. We want a competency-based way to keep qualified paras in their classroom. We want them held to high standards. We want to access the training that you've all provided. And we just ask that you codify this into law for Title I paraprofessionals so we can once and for all be done with this fear out in the field.
Thank you both. Senator Kunish.
Thank you, Senator, Chair. On top of all of the things that you've told us, can you explain a little bit about the financial burden that these tests also create for these folks?
Absolutely. Chair, Senator. So one of the tests has a registration fee of $135. The other is about somewhere between $70 and $80. If you fail it, you have to pay again. There is a cap on how many times you can take it for one of the two. The new one that they've put out, the Parapathways, we can't get consistent pricing information from the Department of Education because they say the test is too new. And so that cost either falls on the applicant, the paraprofessional, or the hiring district. Yes, you have to pay for it each time you take it, so.
And can you explain the environment under which they take these tests? Can they take them online at home? Do they have to be under supervision on site of a school? What does that look like?
Chair, Senator, thank you for that question. I have actually never watched anyone take it, but what I have understood from speaking with many human resource directors is that they take it on site. The school districts have licenses through the Department of Education and the two vendors, and you take it, it's a computer-based test, but no, you don't get the opportunity to take it at home. We've asked about if a paraprofessional has a documented learning disability from when they were in school, are there accommodations to give them additional time or maybe other kind of services that we would give anyone? The Department of Education has never provided us with a good answer to that question either.
Senator Abler.
Well, thanks. Another common sense thing, finally. Thanks for, Senator Clark wasn't here in the past, so it's just nice that he's here and he's working on all these matters that have just been languishing for so long. So way to go to my housing seatmate. So Senator Clark, you mentioned that you shrunk this down from other paras. Are there similar circumstances in other paraprofessional ways, if you don't know, or one of the others?
I'm not sure what the question is. I think I'll turn to Dr. Killian.
Chair Swedzinski, Senator, I'm going to see if I understand your question. So we had special ed paras and Title I paras that are affected by this. Are you asking if there are other categories of paraprofessionals that we have maybe forgotten in this conversation that could be impacted? Is that the question?
Well, I foolishly was paying attention during the opening comments, and I may be confused, but the senator said that he had to shrink it down to include these couple, but if there's other ones, I'm just interested if there's other paras that are in a similar circumstance in a different topic area, or maybe I misunderstood.
Chair Swedzinski, Senator Abler. I think what I was referencing is that when we made the change in 2025, we thought we were covering everyone.
Oh.
And so this, the language in this is just focused on the Title I paraprofessionals. So what we thought last year, we got them all.
Oh.
And MDE said, we didn't think you get them all. So we're coming back to be like, let's be clear. The 20 competencies is necessary and good and meets that highly qualified standard. And it does. And so it's been proven elsewhere. And so that's for us to be really clear to the MDE that when we said everybody last year, we also meant Title I.
All right. Well, thanks, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate the diligence of the good senator.
Thank you.
Senator Boldon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Clark, for working on this and bringing this forward. It just makes me think there are some times in this role, in this work, where things come before us, where it seems like systems and processes and procedures are so far outside of the bounds of common sense that it seems incredibly obvious that we should be doing something different. This is one of those cases. We need people doing this critically important work. And to have people who are doing it and are no doubt very good at it, who have been doing it for decades in some cases, and making it harder for them, or making it harder for them at best, and at worst, pushing them out of this work in a time when we actually need to be bringing more people in, just makes no sense at all. And so this seems very common sense and a thing that we should do. So thank you for working on it and bringing it forward.
Thanks for catching it, or whoever brought this to your attention, that we left out a segment of the paraprofessionals, and I'm flabbergasted by this test. That might be an issue for another day, but thank you. Senator Clark, any closing remarks?
First of all, Chair Swedzinski, we have enough tests for everyone to take it, so I think that'll be part of the, anyway. Our paraprofessionals are the first face that so many kids see every day when they're headed to school. And we know that there's a variety of ways to prove that they are highly qualified. The 20 competency for paraprofessionals before they have their first contact date is clearly a way that they meet that. So we want to make sure that these folks who feed our children, they drive our kids to school, they help with special needs, and learn and move around the schools, that they are highly qualified, and this tool does that. Title I paras are often working in our lowest income schools in our state, and I believe this will help keep these valuable educators working with our students. So thank you for your support of this bill and our ongoing support of our educators. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Clark. And with that, Senate File 3368 as amended is laid over for possible inclusion in the future omnibus bill. Thank you. On Wednesday, we have a full committee, and thank you to members that joined us online today. And so today was kind of a hassle of a day between online and in person. So we're going to be meeting at noon on Wednesday as well as we did today. We're going to be hearing Senate File 3870, 4453, 3572, 2909, 3603, and 4023. Senate File 3870 is a presentation of the department's education bill. So that's kind of going to be a big day. And enjoy this rest of your day and the rest of your week, and thanks for your flexibility today with all the variables that we got thrown at us. And thank you again, the audience members that attended today. With that said, we'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Bring that test up.